It's David Wowee. Is the all-new True Manifest and Stellar Awakened Melissa any good? Here's how to upgrade her, and here are her best skills, team setups, and grasta. I'll also show you how, with the right setup, you can get her inflicting over 4 billion damage by turn 2. What? And lastly, is she worth your time? Don't forget to like and subscribe to help more people discover this great game. And if this helps you in any way and you're feeling generous, donate a thanks. Melissa was another Eden's first global anniversary character. She's a synth human who can shoot bees and walks around with giant shields on her legs. Despite how awkward she looks, her unique and heart-shattering side quest alone makes her character worth getting. Before we get to the juicy stuff, how do you upgrade her to her best versions anyway? If you have her 4.5-star version and want to upgrade to a 5-star version, you need to get just one Slayer memoir, which you may randomly get while completing the Industrial Ruins Another Dungeon. Chuck it in with 5 chant, 30 prayer, and 90 murmur scripts at times forgotten stop, and you've got yourself a 5-star Melissa! Melissa now also has a true manifest weapon, Singularity, which you can fully unlock when you beat her level 1 and level 10 version at the Space-Time Rift. When you reach its max level, Melissa's strongest skills, Ruin Genocide and Glint Gale, will greatly increase in strength. If you're stuck in beating her true manifest battle, I'll show you how I did it at the end of this video. To Stellar Awaken Melissa, you need to pull her from Melissa specific banners or acquire up to 3 star charts. I did a full guide on how to Stellar Awaken a character, which I've linked in this video's description. So what are Melissa's best skills? Melissa is a wind and crystal slash user, and she's meant to be your team's attacker. She's set up to be an okay wind unit and an even better crystal unit. I'll explain this soon. Before you even do anything, as long as she's in the front line, Melissa will activate Flash Strike Stance, where you'll see a clock thing appear on screen. What it does is it increases all your team's type attack damage by 30%. But with Melissa, this only works for one turn, so you have to make it count. I normally like to use another force right away on turn 1 and make sure to use the skill Glint Gale during this, which I'll go into soon. Also, if you've activated Melissa's Stellar skill, from the get-go she will automatically have Lunatic activated for 3 turns, meaning she'll execute her skills twice for each turn, giving her double damage. Here are the 4 favorite skills I like to equip her with. After this, I'll show you the exact step-by-step moves I did to get her to 4 billion total damage by turn 2. The first skill is Glint Gale, which softens your enemies. It inflicts an XL wind attack and lowers the enemy's resistance against wind and crystal. You probably want to do this on turn 1 when Flash Strike Stance is activated, because if it's activated, Glint Gale also reduces your enemy's power, intelligence, and speed. The second skill, Nephrite Boost, toughens your team up. It increases Melissa's wind and crystal attacks by 50% and increases the party's critical damage for 3 turns. If you're in another zone, this increases to 6 turns. Next is Ruin Genocide, which is nuts. It gives 2 phases of attacks. In the first phase, you inflict 2 XL crystal slash attacks on all enemies, and you inflict break, meaning your damage is doubled. And if you've unlocked her true manifest, your damage will increase by 5. In phase 2, Melissa will inflict yet another XL slash attack on all enemies and also deal 5 times the damage if in true manifest. On top of that, it's a guaranteed critical, and it doubles the damage further if the target has break. This is the skill that gets me dealing the 2 billion damage cap, so remember it. The last skill I would use is her Stellar Awaken skill, Hornet Hail, and I can't believe how over the top this skill is. By itself, the upgraded version does a XXL Crystal Slash attack on a single enemy and inflicts 3 stacks of Crystal Break, meaning your crystal attacks are doubled per stack. If you use this during Stellar Burst, you'll do the same thing, but your damage will increase 20-fold. You'll also activate Lunatic for 3 turns, which means all her skills are doubled for 3 turns. Also, if you've unlocked and enhanced it, you get the Stellar Burst activation bonus, which increases the whole team's weakness multiplier for 1 turn. But that's not the best part. She will then deploy an awakened zone that matches the highest number of personality types in the front line. What this means is if you have two characters who are crystal in the front, Melissa will deploy an awakened crystalline stance, for example, which gives the team plus 60% crystal damage and 220% increase in damage against enemies weak against crystal, which is crazy. But that best part isn't even the best part, man. After she's done all of the above, Melissa enters destruction mode where she gets speed plus 150 and her skill strength doubles and she can dodge attacks. I love this skill because they've fully designed it to match her Synth Human assassin personality. Because this skill is so powerful, I try and get Melissa to Stellar Burst state as quick as possible, which is why I use another force as early as possible in the match to speed up this process. If you've unlocked the appropriate stellar slots, you can also speed up this process by having more shade characters in your team or have 2 or more Synth Human or KMS personality members in the front line. Also, all the attacks increase in damage based on Melissa's speed, so the more speed she has, the more damage she inflicts. It's obvious that most of Melissa's skills are crystal based, making her more of a crystal attacker than a wind one. But in saying this hybrid setup of hers could still be useful against enemies that change elemental weakness throughout the battle. Also, if you don't yet have Sesta or Stellar Awakened Suzette yet, who are 2 of my favorite wind characters at the moment, Melissa can still be a decent wind attacker, especially if you make her use the Glint Gale skill. What equipment and grasta could be good with Melissa? Melissa improves with speed, so in terms of equipment, I give her equipment that will improve speed. The weapons and armor list is always improving, so if you're watching this in the future, click on the link in my description to see the most updated list from the unofficial wiki. As of now, I've equipped her with Dryad's Katana, which has a really high attack and increases her speed based on her number of shadow points. I've also equipped her with a speed badge. She's an attack unit, so a good grasta for her would be the typical Power of Pain grasta enhanced with ore such as the Bull's Eye ore, which increases her damage, the Last Stand ore, which increases her damage per enemy battle, and the Roses with Thorns ore, which, guess what, also increases her damage. You can put team members in their reserves with similar personality or weapon types as Melissa. This is because they can carry shareable grasta for you, such as the Enhance if Max HP grasta and Almighty Power brackets KMS grasta. Who is the best team for Melissa? You know, at first I tested her with a pure crystal team, but I found I can still deal multi-billion damage with a mixed element team that I know and trust, with one exception. I have Iffy as my pain and poison setter. She's also my unit reviver if anyone is knocked out. I have Miyun for Alter as my support unit who can strengthen Melissa. Other good substitutes would be Yifa AS and Melpifia, who I'm working on a guide on. And I usually have another tank and or crystal character that I swap around depending on who I'm fighting. If you have Alma AS, she'd be fantastic here. She can set crystalline stance for you, and her alchemic high state can absorb all the damage for the team. Both Alma normal style and another style can use Brain Record, which makes the enemy weak against your element, making Melissa's attacks even stronger. I did guides on both Alma and Alma another style, which you can watch after this video. Radius AS, Mariel ES and Melpifia could also be good tank options. How much damage can you do with a supercharged Melissa? A lot. My Melissa is only level 92 and I was able to inflict over 4 billion damage by turn 2, and I didn't need a pure crystal or wind team. The key in turn 1 is to weaken the enemy against Melissa's attacks while also making her attacks stronger. To do this, I instantly activated another force, making sure to use the skill Glint Gale to weaken the enemy and then Nephrite to boost Melissa's damage. In the meantime, I used my support character Miyun for Alter to use Please, and I'll do my best to further buff Melissa up. And I had Iffy inflict pain and poison to make sure Melissa's pain grasta is as effective as possible. And last, I use Alma's Brain Record to weaken the enemy against crystal attacks. So all that's left is turn 2, where Melissa uses Ruin Genocide to deal over 3 billion damage, totaling over 4 billion damage across 2 turns. Woo! If you want to see the full version of this damage test, I've included it at the end of this video. If you want to see a similar strategy against a boss, I also released another video where I used Melissa and a similar team to beat Ukwaji Trio in 2 moves. Check it out. Is Melissa worth investing your time and efforts in? Maybe. If you already have Melissa, why not, man? You've seen how powerful she can get, and if you don't have her, her side quest alone is something worth experiencing. Or if you want to save some chronostones, just watch a side quest on YouTube. If you don't have Melissa, I would get her if you don't have the other strong crystal attack units yet who are out at the moment. Philolili extra style and Alma another style. If you already have them, I would perhaps dedicate my resources to building them up first and then thinking about getting Melissa. To me, both Thili ES and Alma AS are a bit easier to figure out and can still do crazy damage. On top of that, Alma AS can be set up in a way where she can be virtually indestructible. Watch my vids to see for yourself. 5-star Thili ES also gets a free sidekick, Moki, and they both have pretty lengthy and pretty decent side quests that are worth playing through. If you want a good wind attack unit, I'd focus on getting Stella Awakened Suzette first, as she's also a bit easier to figure out than Melissa. Check my video on her for more information. Aside from that, Melissa can be a super powerful wind and crystal slash unit, and if you set her up like I showed you in this video, you're in for some good times, baby. Plus she has killer bees and massive shields on her legs, man. How nuts is that? These are just my thoughts. In the end, it's your decision. For those who are stuck with Melissa's True Manifest battle, here's how I did it. I was kind of sloppy in this, and you can find much cleaner ways to do this on YouTube. But if you want to watch it, sure. I used an all-fire team where I had Tsukiya and Mune for Alta just constantly buffing up Stellar Awakened Tsukiya, and I used Iffy to inflict pain and revive anyone who gets knocked out. If 3 of your teammates get knocked out, use Iffy's Walpurgisnacht to renew blood contract so they can be revived again if they get knocked out again. For Stella Awakened Tsukiya, I just repeated a pattern of using Awakened Blade and then Scalding Serenade, and when I was able to use Stellar Burst, I used Awakened Blade again. Tsukiya Alta was my Raging Fire stance setter in this battle, and I used Mune for Alta's Tampered Roast to awaken it. I just kept repeating this process while using another force where I could. When you knock Melissa out, she'll revive herself. You have to knock her out, I think 3 times, someone correct me if it's more, until you finally beat her.
This is not where I die. Ouch! Play nice! I will handle his power with utmost care. Down! Hop to it! This is not where I die. This is not where I die. The evil spirits have retreated. For now.
Here is my grasta and equipment setup. Here's a full version of the damage test video I showed you earlier. And later, if you want to see Melissa's 2-turn fight against Ukwaji video, check it out from the link in my description.
How's that? Got you. Set. Go away! Take that! Set. Ha. Transmute. Take that. Transmute. Irregular performance increase detected. No problem.
Here is my grasta and equipment setup.